Alright, so I'm here today with my good friend and online session guitarist Jordan Humber. His website is jordanhumber.co.uk, and I thought I'd come over and pick his brain a bit, see what he's got going on, and see what sort of lessons we can learn from Jordan and apply to our own businesses. So, thanks for doing this, Jordan.
No worries.
I thought maybe we'd talk a bit about how it all started, how you got into the online session thing, and sort of why, and find out that.
So the why would be going back to discovering that the idea of session guitar existed.
Right.
Kind of we've talked before. It's like if you hear a record by a band, you know who's on it for the most part, and then you kind of hear records by anyone, any solo singer. You can kind of hear the latest Pink album.
Yeah. And
kind of little do you know that you've got like Mark Shulman and good guys like Justin Derrico playing all over it. And it's kind of when you twig that there's this oodles of people out there generating this amazing music. I kind of thought that's got to be an interesting job. You know, they're not kind of putting up with all the crap of being in the band. So the more I kind of heard about it, the more I thought that was a cool investigation. And then your good self told me one day that you'd started the online drumming thing, and that looked like fun. So I thought I'd kind of try the guitar equivalent. So, and I kind of put that, and then I remember speaking to you and you said that you'd nailed Gumtree, and what that was basically me putting an advert up, because it's free.
It's like a musician's classified site,
yeah,
isn't it?
So, I mean, I think it's the same thing. It's literally, the advert is under the heading of kind of musicians for sale, effectively,
right,
that kind of stuff. So the same place that people advertise their band for weddings, I was advertising, you know, I think the title was like, Recording Guitarist Available for Your Songs.
Yeah.
And in it...
I wonder where you got that title from.
I know. It's pretty much, if you just see my advert, substitute the word guitar for drums, you'd find all sorts of people. And from there, I just put in the advert, like, kind of questions, like, you know, are you a singer-songwriter that kind of has a demo that you just, maybe you play a bit of guitar but you don't like your guitar playing, or you don't play guitar at all.
That's good stuff. So you're trying to hook them, you're trying to appeal to the
pretty much saying,
person.
yeah, like, you know, are you someone who's got everything in place? You've got a kick-ass piano player and a sax player and a drummer, and you're the bass player but you don't have a guitarist. Let me do that for you. And then I also put in there, if you want the full treatment, so you want the full song and you've just got an acoustic demo, I said I've got access to, you know, a nifty drummer for when you're not available.
Hey!
And
he does jokes as well.
And I kind of said, you know, I know drummers and bass players, so I can do the full song for you, so I can kind of take on more of a producer role.
That's interesting.
And that's interesting because out of all the things, I thought that's the one that people wouldn't go for. Yeah. But more and more, that is the one that people go for. Right.
Because they don't know where to start at all for
exactly. Because most people, if they get in contact with you, they are someone who's written a demo, which is probably them and a piano or them and an acoustic guitar.
Right.
So they are therefore asking for everything, really, which is kind of cool. You end up learning a lot more about production and mixing and arranging.
And you think of the whole thing in terms of the song rather than just your parts.
And that's kind of how I got started. I basically copied you, and the work started coming in, which is great.
For me and a lot of the drummers out there, our typical clients are guys like you. They're guitarists in a room like this, and they're programming everything. They might know a singer, but they don't have drums. So, who are your typical clients?
Kind of, I was going to answer that and say kind of the people we just talked about, but I've actually had quite a few. The most typical is the singer-songwriter that will send you a demo. Right. Sometimes they might want you to add to what's already there, which is kind of what I was showing you earlier, what I'm doing here, which is kind of cool. The difficult part there is that you're not part of the big picture, so you've got to try and think into the mindset of what they want. Right. The hardest thing in the world for any type of client is getting the information up front of what they want. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are really scared. Like, for me, that was the perception about session drumming. Like, session drumming is you're going to get into the studio and someone's going to be like, play a bossa at 320 BPM, and you're going to be like, oh.
And sight read it, because here's the music you've never seen before.
Whereas in reality, 90% of the stuff that comes through is like rock pop, and it's comfortable.
I don't think I've ever had to sight read anything on a session, either here or in a real studio. Yeah. Real studio. Remote studio. Yeah. Which is kind of odd, because I know most of the sort of session players that I sort of look up to are killer sight readers.
But they came from the old world of the Rangers.
Exactly, yeah. So they'll walk into a studio session with like a 50-piece orchestra and everyone will be getting their score to play. I'm kind of working more from the ground up, so I'm kind of the one producing the score, if that makes sense, for a lot of this stuff. So yeah, the average client will give you that, as I said, sometimes really specific detail on what they want, which is great. Other times, can you make this sound like Z?
For your adjustments, I know a lot of online drummers, they'd say, I'll include 1 or 2 adjustments, anything over that I'm charging you for. Do you include unlimited adjustments?
Well, I don't explicitly say otherwise. I've done that. I've never kind of had to go down the route of making unlimited adjustments. Maybe because I just kind of try and do my best to kind of get what they're wanting. I guess if you were like overly proud of a recording and you kept trying to hang on to bits of it that you liked but it was clear they didn't, then I think you'd get into the cycle of like you'd be changing 5% and they'd be giving 5%, but you're never gonna get there. So I think just trying to get to them, saying, be honest with me, which bits do you like, which bits don't you like. If they've asked for a tune in the style of Pink, and you've sent them a tune in the style of Pink, they're going to be pretty happy with it. If they've asked for a tune in the style of Pink and you send them a tune in the style of Pink Floyd, then they're gonna...
That's good. No preparation.
No, rolling off. Then you're gonna kind of get in trouble. So, just keep going on the cycle. I think the most stuff I ever had to do was like 3 or 4.
So you basically do offer unlimited adjustments, but in your experience, just like mine, you never really go past 1 or 2.
No, and it's kind of if you've done a good job with the track. So in that respect, kind of like most people are generally pleased when they hear tracks because I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world by long means, but I kind of
you're up there.
I know my way around how to push strings around, and I kind of know how to get sounds they're after just through experience now. So I'm not kind of BSing people.
I want to talk to you about your advertising. A lot of people have lots of questions. How do I advertise? How do I get work? You mentioned Google earlier. I see that you're still on Google. So Google AdWords is working for you?
I've had, I think, I'd probably say 3 or 4 that I know have come from Google.
Right.
A couple of others that I know have come from Gumtree, and some that I'm just not sure.
But you're on YouTube, aren't you? So you probably get a trickle from there, maybe?
I've got quite a lot of YouTube. There's nothing ridiculous. There's nothing me doing like any Steve Vai stuff on YouTube. It's just me playing hopefully nice music.
That's what people want, isn't it? They want their songs to sound nice. They don't want someone to shred on them.
I kind of think if I had a pop acoustic demo song and then I saw a clip of a guy on YouTube shredding out some Paganini Caprice on an Ibanez, I might not, Ibanez make great guitars, but I might not ask that guy to add some stuff when I want a tune in the style of the Dixie Chicks.
That's a good point.
And that's the other thing, it's like, don't lie to people. It's quite often you get the phone call and they say like, you've heard my existing recordings, can you match this quality? Now, if someone played me stuff that sounded like, a Toto record, I would hold my hand up and go like, I'm not Steve Lucas, try him, he might do it. So it's kind of I don't think I've ever had to kind of do that, but I would happily say to someone like, you've kind of got the wrong guitarist here.
I think honesty is so important. It's so easy to, like, I was just thinking the other day, like, why do you need to buy good preamps if you can just put on your website or use a Neve desk? Like, it's so easy to lie to people online.
Do you think people can tell?
I'm willing to bet the guys who see Neve preamps on your website can tell the difference, and they're going to be disappointed when they hear your final recording.
I go with that.
That's my justification for not.
I think generally the people who don't care or don't ask wouldn't care if it was on your website.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And that's the majority of the guys out there. They just want normal players on their track.
The only people that care about what guitars I've got are other guitarists.
And
they're not
giving you any business. Exactly.
They're trying to record their own stuff.
Exactly.
I kind of recently read a book on sort of modern recording techniques, and while it was all brilliant information, it would be brilliant information if I was working in Abbey Road as an engineer. Something like this takes pretty much all of that out of the equation. I've never had any training in mixing. Luckily, I've asked you questions before. my bass player's got a degree in sound engineering, so I was quite lucky to kind of, I'm always raiding people's brains for mixing things, and you learn, you do a mix and you think, well, that sounds rubbish, let's move that guitar out wide left, that's, it's opened up some space, let's put the guitar solo down the middle.
So you said that repeat business is big for you. How do you deal with people to ensure that they come back? Are there any specific things you look at, or is it just making them happy?
I think some of it, well, first, do a good job.
Yeah.
The other one is generally be a nice guy. It's like little things like someone emails you, when you write back, start the email with, hey, I hope you're having a good week. Something like that.
Right,
so, I think you can build a lot of kind of like personal relationship side of things just through being cool. Not like the Fonz, but
That might work.
Don't be an ass. Don't come off as aloof or arrogant, or just take an interest in their music. If you like a song, tell them, write back and go like, by the way, I really enjoy playing on this song. And it's very, very rare do I play on a song that I don't enjoy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I kind of...
Because you're playing guitar.
Yeah, because I'm doing this for a job. So write back and say, I'm glad you like the track. By the way, not only did I like the track, I like the process of working with you, albeit in this kind of abstract online way. If you ever want another track, you've got my email address.